It's Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016. I'm Rem.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we fully review Gravity Falls now that it's fully done.
Let's do this.
So one of the reasons way back when Emily and I moved into the building where the Geek Night studio is and everything, we picked it because it had a good view and a nice roof, and the apartment was nice, and it had bike parking in the building, which in New York City is a really, really important thing.
I have bike parking in my building.
Well, you put it out on your balcony.
Yeah.
Eh.
What do you mean,
It's moisture and it's outside, and I gotta carry it up the elevator every day.
You don't carry it in an elevator. The elevator does the carrying. That's what an elevator is. Also, if it's rainy or wet, I just bring it inside.
Yeah, but that's a pain. I like to reduce clutter.
Such a pain.
It's more of a pain than just having a bike parking room, but we were some of the first people to move into this building, and as time went on, the bike room got more and more crowded to the point that it is filled with bikes, like all tangled with each other. And as far as I can tell, there's only like 4 people in the building who actually fucking ride their bikes, and the rest of them just sit there unmoving forever. In the way, being a pain. And there's some racks you can hang the bikes from on hooks.
No one does it.
No, they're all full
with
people who like staked out a spot by like writing their apartment number in Sharpie on the thing. And if anyone else puts their bike up there, they take it down with a passive-aggressive angry note. Even though the people who hang their bikes on that thing, I don't think have ever ridden them.
But this is another good reason. Just keep it in your apartment, because then you have to deal with the shared space drama.
See, I didn't have to, because so few people rode their bikes that I basically just put my bike and Emily's bike right in the front of the room, in the middle of the room, blocking everything, because it didn't get in anyone's way. The other few people who rode their bikes also just put them in the front, and basically everyone else was completely screwed if they wanted to ride their bikes, which I don't think they've ever tried to do.
If they didn't try to ride their bikes, why don't you steal their bikes or destroy them? And
I'm pretty sure I could steal most of the bikes in there, and no one would have noticed. I probably could have made a lot of money selling all those bikes.
Sell all the bikes that you don't see get used ever.
So, anyway,
and
my
they'll be
building,
like, why did these bikes not get stolen?
I imagine someone complained because now we have real bike parking. They took up giant room in the basement.
That used to be an illegal apartment.
It used to be an illegal apartment. Those people got kicked out, and now it is a
There's
giant...
still an illegal apartment on the roof.
I'm not sure. I haven't been up there to check.
It has a big...
I mean, it was an illegal apartment.
Okay, it has a sign on the front that says, like, storage room or something.
No,
but you can clearly see that there's an air conditioner. Why would you have an air conditioner storage room? And why would there be a kitchen sink behind the air conditioner in a storage room?
So, I am saying I have not peeked in that window to confirm if it is still an illegal apartment in the last few months.
Sure. I'm willing to bet it's still an illegal apartment.
And actually, you do usually in buildings like this put air conditioners and heating in the weird storage rooms that are outside of the normal
with
space
kitchen
of the building.
sinks.
Yeah, well, that was a utility sink.
With Dawn soap for dishes?
But no, yeah, someone was definitely living in there. But since I last confirmed that someone's probably living in there, I have not gone back to reconfirm. So it's possible in the last few months it is no longer an illegal apartment.
It's possible. I'm not betting on it. It's an illegal apartment. I think it's actually 2 illegal apartments, one on top of the other.
Well, they're running around the back. I wish I could move into that thing.
Yeah. Well,
that weird, like, top house.
Go to the illegal apartment in a different building.
I should just go knock on the door and be like, hey, what are you paying in rent? I'll sublet it from you for $100 more a month and just get extra rooms in our apartment up there.
But they're not going to be able to find a cheaper place than an illegal apartment.
I'm sure that I mean, how do you even go about getting the illegal apartment?
You find some commercial space and live in it.
Yeah, but that's not what they did here. This is just a residential luxury building.
They knew somebody.
How do you? Yeah, so I got to know somebody. I'll just ask the landlord. I'll ask the handyman, the super. I'll be like, yo, you got any illegal rooms I can rent for like a friend? Just straight up. Anyway, we got a new room in the basement, and they put, you know those nice like wall mounts? You put your bike up, there's like a lock built into it. They put a bunch of them down there.
I wonder where the money for that came from.
I guess people complained. Like a while ago, there was no hot water in the morning if you got up after like 8 o'clock for a couple weeks.
Really?
And then I
Whoa,
guess...
I've never seen a large building run out of hot water.
I guess people bitched because...
even hotels don't run out.
Because I've been in hotels that ran out.
In the United States.
I've been in hotels in the United States that were not Quality Inns where it ran out.
What?
Yeah.
Like a Marriott or something?
The Zankai Con Hotel last year.
The Marriott one or the Jank one that we were in?
I think the Jank one.
Well, a Jank one is, but it wasn't the one that the con is in.
But anyway, so they have this new thing down there, and I see they put a sign in both elevators and in the stairways that said, hey, move your bikes to the new bike room.
Yeah, I saw that sign.
So I saw that sign, and I thought, oh, fuck. So immediately I went down there with our bikes. And, of course, no one had put their bikes down there yet. So I took 2 of those nice bike parking spaces, and I wrote our apartment number on them in a way it cannot be removed, and I locked our bikes to them, and they're ours. Because if other people are going to play that game, I'm going to play that game.
See, I just avoid the games.
Tragedy the Commons, I will always win.
I just avoid the games entirely.
But no, it's convenient. It's a nice room, and it's giant, like bigger than our living room. So there's plenty of space for bikes
live
down
in
there.
it then. Yeah, it used to be an illegal apartment.
Yeah, with weird steps. It actually has a stepped area with carpet, a lot like the thing in that lounge we used to play D&D in Peterson 3.
So speaking of, the bikes and buildings law, I found something out.
The fact that it's actually completely toothless?
No, it's way more for real toothy than I ever imagined.
Really? Because I know some loopholes that are guaranteed.
No, so apparently here's a true story. You ready for this true story?
I'm ready.
Somebody was working in a midtown large office building.
You're starting like a horror story. Someone was working
in a large midtown
office building.
Okay? They tried to do some bike action, and the building was like, we're going to be jerks and not make this happen, right? So they were parking their bikes outside and tying them up, and one of them got stole.
Oh.
They went to the small claims court against the building.
That's the way to do it.
And they won, like, boop, you win. Here's enough money for your bike.
Now, that's not, the law doesn't help with that because the loophole, how they get out of the law, is actually real easy. The building has to say, yes, we recognize your request. And then they say you have to use the service elevator. And then they make the service elevator hours be slightly after when everyone has to get to work and slightly before everyone has to leave work.
Apparently, you can avoid that bullshit also.
Because I actually called the city way back with my old company asking about that, and the clerk lady I talked to said, yeah, that's how everyone gets around the law. There's really no way to fix it unless you sue them.
Well, apparently, the thing is, I think if you sue them, you can win on that.
Maybe.
I think they're
not.
No,
I would sue. Don't you?
Right. So, yeah, we'll see what happens at my current building. Me and Jose, we're gonna push. He's tying his bike up outside every day. I'm not doing that.
I would, but I'd get my boss to give me in writing if my bike gets stolen, they'll buy me a brand new bike of equivalent quality.
No, my bike's, my I guess, I don't know, 2 bosses up was like, yeah, I'm gonna work on this like a project, and I emailed him the story that I saw, and all the infos because apparently it's much stronger than I suspected.
No.
Apparently, not only can tenants ask for it, but also subtenants. Subtenant doesn't mean employee of a company. Subtenant means like one person's renting out the whole floor, and you're renting a piece from them. That's a subtenant. And if you're a subtenant, you can do it.
See, I'd go further. I say the law should stipulate that buildings that have elevators have to let you use bikes in them. Full stop, no exceptions. Fuck you.
I agree. That's what I would do if I was the law also.
Yep. But anyway, so the bike room's there. I got my bike in, and over the next week, pretty much all the bike parking
another
spots.
thing I would do would be if you run a bike shop and any stolen bike part is found in your bike shop,
shot.
Death.
They shoot you.
Death.
Yeah.
Also, if you're caught stealing a bike, death.
We should just make death bikes.
Oh, also before death, we have a bunch of cyclists who just like volunteer every day, and we put you in a room with them for like 10 minutes.
We could just have death bikes, like,
and then if cyclists are bored one day, they can bike over and volunteer.
Scott, you just put bikes around the city randomly that, if taken and ridden more than like 20 feet,
explode.
The seat explodes with spikes.
Yes.
Anyway, so. Like
what if someone
people...
takes? What if it's an emergency and everyone's trying to escape the city and someone just grabs one and goes?
Well, you know what? That sucks, Mad Max. That's how Mad Max goes.
Okay.
So, like 12 people put their bikes down there, and the bike room that we're supposed to leave is still completely full of all the bikes that no one rides. And the deadline is basically like within a week.
Are there any way nice bikes in there? Like way nice?
There's a lot of really expensive bikes, but they're not really good bikes. All the good bikes are the people who ride them, and they're downstairs.
Okay, so there's no real nice ones that you would want.
No, but there's bikes you could sell for like $700-800.
I'm sure the building is going to take care of that.
Yep.
The same way they take care of stuff when like you leave your apartment and leave all your stuff in it and don't come back.
It's just interesting to me how many people own bikes in New York who went through the effort to put them in the bike room in the building that has a bike room and then have literally never used them and haven't even like moved them to the slightly further away room. I wonder what's going to happen when that deadline comes and goes and none of those people have moved their bikes.
I wonder what they're going to do with the room they're moving the bikes out of.
Probably just make it storage.
I don't know.
I mean, downstairs, nothing but storage and boilers and stuff down there, so.
Used to be someone living down there.
There's also a whole bunch of scary industrial shit down there because it's a big building.
Dude, the downstairs of my elementary school is like whenever I think of a downstairs that's scary.
You want to compare downstairs scary elementary schools? I went to an ancient elementary school with a Catholic church, like an old one, like one of the older ones in the U.S. attached to it, with tunnels connecting them to each other and all this crazy shit.
There was a giant, like, super bank safe in the bottom.
Ooh, that's where all the dead kids are.
They used to. I went in it like once or twice. I forget why.
I remember once I was breaking into, like I was bored at RIT and I was busting into, the tunnels and then the sub-tunnels and all the places you're not supposed to go. Because RIT has tunnels everywhere, but there were like tunnels under those tunnels. So I found a stairway that was always locked that went down from one of the sub-tunnels and there's a tiny window and I could see that it went way down. And it's already a full floor below the tunnel, which itself is like a floor and a half below ground.
So it was at the bottom.
So I opened the thing because it was just unlocked one day, and I start creeping down, and I get about halfway down, and I the door's like kind of propped behind me, and there's a little bit of light coming in, and I realized I couldn't find any way to turn on any lights down there, and there were scary noises coming from the bottom, so I went back up and resolved to come back with a flashlight, and it was locked every time I checked again for the rest of my time at RIT.
Why don't you just unlock it?
How? I'm not a lockpick.
You could YouTube that shit.
Yeah, I guess I could have made a bump key, but I didn't care that much.
Well, actually, did YouTube exist?
No, YouTube appeared while we were at RIT.
You still could have gotten e-lock picking things
fact,
from the library.
The first videos we uploaded to YouTube, you could only upload 10 minutes at a time, so a lot of our early panels are in 10-minute chunks.
Yeah.
That's how old we are.
But you could still go to the school library and get info.
Hey, oh yeah, go to the special collection.
I'm just any library. Even a public library has a book on lockpicking.
Oh no, I thought.
And if you don't have a
book
book on lockpicking, they have a book on locksmithing because you want to be a locksmith.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at RIT there are many kids who have practiced lockpicking. You could find one.
Anyway, it's Anime Day and Manga and Comics Day, and we got to talk about that kind of stuff. So you got any news?
I do have a news. So we're doing at Anime Boston. One of the panels we do there is the judge a book anime by its cover, and we review one of the upcoming anime seasons. And the spring season's literally like about to start, and it had more interesting stuff. So I chose that one instead of the summer one for our panel.
I haven't looked at this at all.
Right. So one of the things on the list was normally we're supposed to judge by the cover and not know anything about any of these shows. But there was one that I had seen the trailer for because someone posted it in our forum. And this show looks like it's going to be a great, terrific, amazing show that everyone should see. So I can't judge it by its cover because I've seen this trailer.
Well, that trailer is part of the cover, because we talk about in the panel how,
Sure.
like, sometimes you do the Google image search.
But anyway, this show is called Sakamoto Desu ka. It's about this kid named Sakamoto. And he is like Mr. Perfect of school, basically. Right? Like everything he does is perfect. If you try to prank him, you can't. He like gets good grades and he's super athletic and just like he's perfect at everything. He cannot be fucked with at all, right? But he's also like so nice and it's just like he's like infuriatingly good at everything, but also awesomely good at everything. The way that like One Punch Man or Go-Go 13 or any of those people are just so good and being badass and always winning.
I'm always a fan of the infuriatingly good protagonist genre.
Yeah. So it's also well animated. So it's, it's like, it's not super well animated like Ghibli level, but it's like
it's better animated than the closest equivalent we can think of.
It's modern
animation.
It's not a modern animation. It is a modern animation. It's not some garbage. Yeah, like Zaizen Jotaro or whatever. So this show is the show to watch in the spring season. We'll see what happens in the summer season.
So Escaflowne. Now, so many people emailed me about this.
That's your show, right?
Tweeted at me about this.
That's your
people
thing.
I haven't talked to in 4 or 5 years came out of the woodwork.
I mean, your Twitter handle is Shazar.
That is true. Named after Cliff Shazar from Trigun.
No, not named after Cliff Shazar from Trigun.
That is the other anime Shazar, though.
Sure, you had that name though before Trigun was even a thing.
That is in fact true, but I
because
digress.
of Alan Shazar.
Yeah.
Who is in Escaflowne.
And also kind of a not great person, if you watch the show.
Is exactly like Rim.
But Escaflowne was
Rim
interesting.
intentionally made his own life, and he manually crafted his own personality to be a combination of Captain Tyler and Shazar on purpose.
It's more like 90% Tyler. Like it's mostly Tyler.
That's what you like to think.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really learned how to use swords that well.
You were lucky that you didn't have money when you
yeah, that is
at the
true.
right time.
I would have Alan Shazar's fucking sword hanging around somewhere. It's real good. I never got into the Wheel of Time when I was young and had money because there's a lot of replicas of all the things in that.
Well, no, that would have been good. You would have spent your money on books and not on some garbage. I don't know.
For like $300, you could get the Heron Blade.
Yeah, sure. Just
It was always in that Museum Replicas catalog, and I always look at it and be like, whoa, that's a really cool sword.
Listen, you can have all the Heron Blades
It's got
you
a
want.
full tang, Scott. A full tang. It's battle-worthy.
Rim, you can have the Heron Blade if I have
Calendar.
Heron Spear.
All right, you know what? You can have the Heron Spear. I'll take, what is it? The Sangreal nonsense that they use. Those giant statues.
You're not beating my Heron Spear.
I think those statues beat the Heron Spear.
A Heron Spear.
Heron Spear is just some like Terran
The
Grill
Heron
nonsense.
Spear can destroy the no god. Not
Yeah,
even,
you know what?
Not,
I
it
think
can't,
those
it's so
things could
powerful.
too.
Not only it can destroy gods, that's like whatever. It can destroy the absence of gods.
That book's coming.
A
But
giant tornado with a scary coffin in the middle.
Escaflowne was one of the anime that I like. You know, I was in high school. I was really into anime since I was like 8 years old. But Escaflowne was an anime that I was aware of when it was in Japan and was desperately trying to see for a long time. And then when it got released in the US on VHS, I basically watched it as fast as I possibly could. I tried to get fan subs and actually failed because the people who were fan subbing it wouldn't distribute it to me because I didn't run an anime club. And they didn't believe me when I lied and said that I did run an anime club.
But you did eventually run an anime club.
Yeah, fuck you guys who fan sub Escaflowne. Hey.
But anyway, I didn't realize until just now, Escaflowne had never been dubbed. We had a VHS set that was all subs. I thought that there was a set you could have gotten with dubs, and we were just smart enough not to buy that.
But no, they
There
just
was
released it
also-
subtitled.
There was also a DVD box set that I believed had dub on it, and it did not. And there was a dub on Fox, but that's not Escaflowne.
The dub on
and that's
Fox-
not even complete.
The Fox box or whatever dub basically cut the show up and kind of gave it the Warriors of the Wind treatment. I'm not even sure if they finished dubbing the entire show, but
it's-
that dub was a disaster.
It's also
for-
not Escaflowne, basically.
Yeah, it's Warriors
same
of the
way-
Wind 2.
It's like, I mean, people want to talk about Macross. I mean, Robotech isn't Macross, which it isn't, but really, the Escaflowne on Fox is even worse than that.
But Escaflowne is actually one of my favorite anime, and it is a really good show. There aren't
It's a
many
good
shows
show.
like it. Partly because there's a lot of reasons. We've
Isaac
reviewed it in the
Newton,
past.
spoilers.
I feel like I should watch it again because I don't know if it warrants its high placement on my list of my favorite anime ever.
It's no Evangelion.
No, it's not. Of course it's not an Evangelion.
But it's a good show. Why not watch it? It's better than like almost all the shows coming out right now.
yeah. I mean, if it came out today,
It's got
brand
that-
new,
it's got
it
that-
would do really well, I think.
It's got those musics.
It moves real fast.
It's got good characters. It's got cliffhangers.
This is where I think Maya Sakamoto basically got her start. This is where a lot of people got like their sort of starts in anime. So the dub's coming on Kickstarter. They're kickstarting
Wait, so why
the
would you
dub.
kickstart a dub? You could just buy the DVD box set that's legally available with subs. Why would you pay more money than that to help them make a dub that world does not
That
need?
is in fact what I don't get. Now, I could see them making a dub if they were going to try to do what I always say they should do and give it mass market appeal.
You might be a blind person who does not know Japanese, in which case this dub would be very good for you.
That is true.
But other than that, why do you want this?
Yeah, because if I had the rights to the show, you'd only dub it if you were going to put it on like Crunchyroll or Hulu or whatever and then promote it and try to get normies to watch it. Or you're going to put it on TV. You're going to do something with it for a not insider anime audience. But the people who are going to pre-order this are almost entirely people who know the show exists and have already seen it probably several times.
Why do they want to see it again with English language
Because there's no
audio?
evidence that it's going to be a better dub than any average anime dub is. And I feel like this is just a pre-order for... No, I don't need to feel like, because they say straight up, this is just a pre-order, because obviously 150 grand is not enough to dub a show.
Right.
I mean, 150 grand is maybe enough to dub one episode of a show if you do it low rent. But that's not a
They
lot
seem
of
to
money.
be doing it at the usual rent level.
Yeah. So they pretty much straight up are like, yeah, this is just a pre-order for all of you who want this. And we'll only do the dub if we know there's enough interest because this is a pre-order. So they're basically saying we're going to pay to dub it, but only if a bunch of you actually commit with money to buy it once we release it. But I think the actual reason people are excited about this, I don't think any of these people care about the dub because the $5,000 tier is gone. The $400 tier is gone.
What do you get in the $5,000? Is $5,000 the highest tier?
Yes.
What do you get?
Okay. The star. They're all named after tarot cards. Yeah.
Oh.
A one-of-a-kind Escaflowne experience. We'll fly you out to the Funimation office where you'll get a tour.
No one wants to do that.
A bag of Funimation goodies.
Garbage.
And you'll get to do voice work that will appear in the dub. So you're gonna
do some random background character.
You're gonna be that guy in that awful Gasaraki dub who says, "What's wrong, Yushiro?"
No, you're gonna be like some knight that gets stabbed and goes, "Ah!"
I'll bet you'll get to say a word, and it's gonna because you remember that guy in Gasaraki, right?
You're just gonna be some guy who gets cut down by Vaughn or something.
Do you remember that guy in Gasaraki?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Because that guy stands out like a wound to this day in my soul.
We watched we watched the dub of that.
Everything in the lower tiers. So the $400, $300, $200 tiers, which are pretty much like all crazy subscribed, are basically just giant boxes of nonsense for the show. Nothing about the dub.
Who needs any of this garbage?
Collectors, people who want the perfect edition of Escaflowne.
I didn't think there were this many collectors.
These are the people who like me, were obsessed with Escaflowne, but unlike me, still want to spend a lot of money on getting things like a poster signed.
You could get the existing DVD box set.
Here, for $400, you get the box set with all the fancy art and stuff, and you get a poster signed by the director, the original creator, and the character designer, Nobuteru Yuki.
Okay, but I mean, I saw Nobuteru Yuki at Otakon.
Yeah, so you basically are going to pay $400
why do I need a thing that he wrote on?
To get their signatures, and it's that kind of crap. It's the dub doesn't even need to be a part of this. I'll bet if they just said Escaflowne re-released without a dub, they would have raised almost the exact same amount of money. So maybe they're doing the dub just because they're gonna get the interest from this and it'll sort of break even, and then they're gonna try to push Escaflowne to the mainstream audiences.
Maybe
again.
It's just the anime voice actors are like kind of upset because there's less dubs lately because everything is going pretty much straight to the internet streaming with subtitles, and they're like, we want to make money doing this again.
Except most anime voice actors who are good also just do voiceover work, and they're great in that other work. They're only bad in anime dubs. I mean, they're not hurting for though. Actually, I've seen a few voice actors we know who are friends with me on LinkedIn in the last year updating their statuses to things to the effect of, "Yeah, I really would like some work." So we'll see. I don't think there's any reason to back this. Unless, I mean, if I was going to back it...
We should find something that, like, no one will ever dub ever and dub it. Just, like, as best we... Like, actually try as best as we
just
can.
Just ourselves? Just do a fan dub? You're saying, Scott, do a fan dub.
Yes, people we know, right? Just do the best that we can do, which is not that great, but just do the best we can do, honestly, and see what happens. Yeah, something like Zaizen Jotaro, right? It's nothing bad.
Well, wait, most of these low tiers don't even get you Escaflowne.
How much you have to pay to actually get the DVD box set of the full series?
$15 just gets you a certificate. $30 gets you a pre-order of the movie.
Oh, I was about to ask if you get the movie at any of these tiers.
$35.
Are they dubbing the movie too?
I assume so.
So they're gonna dub the movie and the TV show. That makes kind of sense.
Okay, for $65,
whoa,
you get all that nonsense above. You get a pre-order of the Escaflowne TV series Part 1, featuring episodes 1 through 13.
Fuck you.
Yeah. This Kickstarter.
That's the biggest ripoff I ever heard.
Yeah.
You can get the whole box. How much is the whole box set on Amazon? The one that we already have.
I don't even know.
I'm going to go look right now.
But, so it's interesting. Well, Scott's looking that up because I had to make a new version of foreign anime openers because, I want to have 2 hours of material so I can do the panel with different audiences, even though you people keep coming to it and watching the same Captain Harlock thing over and over and over again. It's real hard to find foreign anime openers because even pretty much everywhere in the world, except for Russia and Korea, they just use the Japanese songs and they just subtitle stuff because no one cares anymore.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so Rim, do you still have that Escaflowne DVD box set?
Actually, for various reasons, I have 2 of them.
All right, but so on Amazon, it's one of the. It turns out it's one of those things
that they didn't make that many, and now it's rare.
So they're selling. I mean, they're being priced on Amazon at $150, but no one seems to be buying at $150. But I'm sure if you put it up at $100, maybe someone would buy. Or even 75, right?
Thing is, for 125. Oh no, at 125, you still only get part 1. Oh, and part 2. Okay, so you have to pay $125 to actually get Escaflowne in this pre-order, and that is a limited tier. There's only 500 of those.
But I have a feeling if we go to Anime Boston, we'll be able to find this box set cheap.
If we see it
Oh, look,
cheap,
here on eBay, it looks like a legit ones on eBay. It could be bootleg ones that just stole the art from the legit ones, but these look like legit ones to me selling for $20 on eBay.
All right. So there's no reason to buy it at Anime Boston unless it's less than
Escaflowne,
20.
complete collection, 8-disc set, brand new. The image in the picture here looks like it's the image from the real thing. It could be still bootleg, though.
So I did a Control F on the Kickstarter. The word remaster doesn't appear anywhere, so I don't think you get anything beyond that. I mean, they're saying HD. Pretty sure it's just DVDs.
All right, here's one that's definitely legit because it's the box with the lid that comes with the robot and stuff. And they're even showing the DVD cases spread out, and it's definitely been watched. And they're selling it for $75. So, whatever.
Yeah. I'm excited that this might cause a renaissance of Escaflowne watching, because I think a lot of kids who watch anime today, their minds would be blown by this show because there aren't a lot of shows like it.
Well, there's not a lot of fantasy adventure that's somewhat serious, but there's plenty of main character magical girl goes to another the universe shows.
Yeah, but like full-on high fantasy, like all the Slayers kind of stuff, but actually serious and not just...
There's no comedy in Escaflowne except the cat girl for like 5 minutes.
There's comedy at times.
Yeah.
It definitely...
Not like El
The
Hazard.
comedy gets shed away. Yeah, El Hazard is about 40% comedy overall.
El Hazard is Escaflowne plus a lot more lols.
Yep, and a lot more weird fan service in
Cat
retrospect.
armor.
Cat armor is great. But anyway, things of the day. So Scott, have you ever wondered why we have butt hair?
You mean hair on your butt or hair in the crack?
In the crack. Like, you ever wonder why there's hair in there? Because
Yeah.
there's more hair there than everywhere else.
I've heard stories of people removing that hair and then having a butt that gets sealed shut and is a disgusting result.
Ah, you were thinking of the story that I remember that we learned about at RIT, the pass out and vomit story from the yes. So someone apparently in the Crash Course videos and SciShow and all that and they have a One Punch Man avatar. And they asked
anyone with a One Punch Man avatar.
They have posted
legit, right? So someone today with a Saitama avatar posted images of what's almost definitely pretty legit the Nintendo NX controller, right?
Yep,
so
I saw that.
You can always trust Saitama avatar.
So
that is the
Saitama
only
avatar-
anime. That's like the exception to anime avatars. Not all anime avatars. Saitama avatars are like the exact opposite of all anime avatars. If someone has one, they're basically just follow them because whatever they say is great.
Lido Johnny with the Saitama avatar has posted a comment that gets upvoted a lot on every single video they have ever uploaded, asking, quote, in all caps, "Why is there hair around my anus?" So they decided to do a special, and they answered that question. So, do you want to know the answer?
Sure.
Scientists don't know. It's actually a mystery.
What?
No, for real. There are some theories.
I mean, it's just right?
No, yeah, it is just.
There doesn't have to be a reason.
So, well, yeah, but the reason
because people kept screwing people who had butt hair.
No, so the butt hair.
Whether you had butt hair or
factor.
not didn't affect whether people made babies with you. So some people,
it might have. So actually, what they come up with in the videos, one, they talk about all the theories.
It also didn't affect whether you lived or died.
So one of the it could actually
long enough to screw.
It actually may have. So one of the theories has to do with. There was no evolutionary pressure for hair there to go away.
That's what I'm saying.
But hair went away everywhere else, so why not there? It's not tied to pubic hair, secondary sex, or anything. It's completely independent of that.
Hair didn't necessarily go away everywhere else.
Well, yeah. Did you see the font?
Exhibit A, Scott Johnson.
Did you see the font someone made that is pictures of their shoulder hairs?
I got shoulder hairs.
It's pictures of individual shoulder hairs on their body that form the shapes of letters. It's a font you can use. It's horrific.
Oh, I don't have that.
You don't have words up there?
No.
One of the theories involves that without hair there, you'll have warm, moist skin rubbing against warm, moist skin. And it implies that that story we read at RIT might be a legitimate concern.
Yeah, I totally believe that story.
But there's no evidence of that.
Well, at RIM, you're just going to do self-experiment.
So he proposes at the end of the video an experiment that would determine, and apparently getting rid of the hair down there and forcing someone to see is not a valid experiment because the shaving or, quote, whatever method you use to remove the hair is equally likely to be the source of irritation. So this video...
Yeah, if you wax your butt, that's going to be pretty irritating.
Yeah. So this video goes into the science of why we don't actually know why there's hair in our butts.
You could also put Nair in your butt crack.
No! I will never let Nair touch my body my entire life.
I'm going to take some Nair and throw it at you.
No, you're not.
Just,
fun fact.
I'll just slip
Nair,
some onto your keyboard and you'll be like typing and be like,
there is
I have my fingers.
A lot of men, in America at least, get injured by Nair.
What?
And it's because...
Why are they touching it?
They use it for, balls or whatever.
No.
But they, being stupid,
Yes.
assume that man-branded Nair is stronger than woman-branded Nair.
It's the same shit in a different bottle.
No, it's not. So they buy female-branded Nair and use that. But on average, Nair that is made for a woman to use for the kinds of places that women use it is actually way stronger than what they make for men.
I mean,
because they know that men are little babies.
In high school, I knew kids who put like icy hot on their nuts, right? So
yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not touching Nair.
That's high school level material.
Actually, I wonder if we'll find out more about Nair's child in the upcoming books.
Oh, Nair? Not Nair. Anyway, so for anyone who doesn't know, Nair is like this hair removal cream that burns your hairs off, basically. Anyway, so you've heard the phrase like milk toast, right? It's like milk toast is like usually an insult to someone because they're so boring and plain.
Yeah, I mean, if you think...
And basic.
If I imagine the word milk toast, I imagine a perfect picture of Milhouse Van Houten.
Yeah, but milk bread, milk toast, is actually a real thing that is delicious. You'll often buy it at the Japanese bakery or whatever.
Yeah.
But how do you make that? How do they make that? Apparently, in order to make that, and the reason it's not really a thing in most countries is because you need an ingredient that I don't even know the real name of that's known as bread improver.
Bread improver?
That's right. So you can
that sounds ominous.
If I was, say, in Japan, I could just go to the grocery store and buy some bread improver. But in the United States, it's not so easy to get bread improver.
Whole grain bread improver from King Arthur flour.
Oh, how about that? There you go.
It looks like it's just flour.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, if you can't get the bread improver, because it's not like the grocery store. Find me a grocery store that actually has that, right?
Keep talking.
They don't have it at Stop and Shop. Okay?
I'm going to check my Fresh Direct.
Okay. But anyway, if you can't get the bread improver, which you probably can't unless you buy it on the internet or something, right? What do you do if you want to make some milk bread? So there's this Chinese lady, and she has a website, Christine's Recipes. And here's this other website, Kirby's Cravings, who made Christine's recipe for the milk bread. And apparently the secret thing that they do is they use something known as the Tangzong method, which I probably pronounced wrong because it's a Chinese word. And in this method, you basically sort of take some flour and some water and like you warm it up and like you cook it to like 65 Celsius to basically make this other stuff, this tangzong, this like flour paste.
Huh.
And then you use that instead of using bread improver or any kind of preservatives or fluffing agents or anything like that.
Just gotta get on it.
Maybe it's work, but you can make what appears visually in these photographs to be delicious milk breads.
Watch, it's a trap. It's like the Anarchist Cookbook, fake recipes for bombs. It just makes like terrible bread.
If warming up flour in a pot is gonna make a bomb, oh well, that's a problem.
In the meta moment, the next book club book will be Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Crake, because I'm going to pause the Wheel of Time books at the end of
You can't pause the Wheel of Time. It's never ending. It goes in circle forever.
in the third age. So
it's a Wheel of Time. It's a Wheel of Time. Not
age yet to be.
It's not the line of time that has a beginning and an end. It's not the line segment of time.
Yep.
It's the wheel.
There are so many characters that it hit a point where there was a name of one of the Aes Sedai, and then that Aes Sedai ended up in a conversation that involved another Aes Sedai that I thought for most of the previous 4 books were the same person because their names are they differ by 1 letter and they just never been in the same area before.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very different, and I didn't realize that. I just thought this one wizard was really erratic in her behavior.
Okay.
So we're going to be at Anime Boston this weekend
Whoa.
on Friday. role-playing anime. We're going to talk about what role-playing systems to use if you want to role-play anime, because I'll tell you what, the anime-branded role-playing systems are hot garbage. Judge anime by its covers Friday night. That's the main event. That's our, like, big-ass anime Boston tradition. We do this every year, and it will not disappoint.
Is this
Saturday.
the third or fourth time we've done this?
Yeah, we do it every year since that first year in 2013, and we're going to keep doing it every year. Saturday, How to Run an Anime Club, more foreign anime openers, which is almost all new content, and motivational anime. We're talking about like Yo a Pedal and why it pumps you up to bike. The weekend right after that at ZenkaiCon, I will be there. Scott will not. And on Saturday, I'm doing How to Run an Anime Club with the other Scotts. I'm doing Analyzing Anime Utena, because that's a good crowd for that kind of panel. And I'm doing Practical Game Theory. Yeah. Got anything else we'd talk about?
Not really.
Our stuff's on the internet.
Go on the internet and look at our things that we make besides this. Like, we have YouTube channels and Twitters and,
Yep. Patreon's going strong, getting real close to that goal. 5 people have revealed that they found several of the beta episodes of GeekNights.
It's not hard. People are just trying harder recently.
So it was explaining to me how the most recent person found it, and basically it was typing too fast, hit enter before they finished typing something in a browser bar, and it hit one. He was like, "What? Oh."
It's not hard. It's just guessing URLs. They're not like obfuscated in any way.
Yep. But no one appears to have found all of them, but I'm actually not sure if all of them are actually still on the internet, because
all the ones that we shared with our friends only in that PHPBB back in 2005 are on the internet.
I might have direct shared.
And if you type the correct URL in your browser, the web server that they are on will send the MP3s to you free of charge.
I can't tell or remember if the episodes from before that point we just never shared with anyone because we thought they were bad.
Maybe, but
or if I direct shared them with people.
The reason they are hard to find is because there are no HTML or other documents on the internet with href links pointing at these URLs.
You know what I want to read?
The only way to figure them out is to just type them in. And I'm curious how much content is available on the internet only in this form that you can't Google search for because it's not indexed.
Yeah.
But if you type in the right URL, imagine what kind of wonderful things are out there. Like, are there like entire movies that like no one's ever seen, but there's an MP4 like hosted somewhere, and if you guessed it right, you could get it?
I'll bet the A People Gaga is out there somewhere in some directory on a Unix server.
Right. It's like, but how do you even search for that?
Gaga.
You can't even search for that, right?
You know how you search for it? The way you search for stuff in the 90s, you search to find like places that reference something that doesn't appear to exist anymore, and then you start poking around with URLs and directory explorers.
Maybe we should make a search engine specifically for this kind of search.
Oh, Lost Web or something.
Yeah, it only indexes like Apache index pages.
Yeah, actually, you know what?
And you search by file name.
That's something we could make. I don't think
and
you
could search by like domain and file name and extension type.
Yeah.
And file size and things and date because the dates are on there. So you can be like old stuff only. So I want to find MP3s from before the year 2010.
Yeah. Will you have to uncook them when you download them?
That'll be an option.
The other day I randomly found a script that I used to use to uncook MP3s that I downloaded.
Someone brought up some other stuff that they found while searching.
That we played a forum Forgotten Realms Dungeons and Dragons game on a PHPBB a long time ago.
Yep.
And there is some amazing descriptive text in there.
I was a mind flayer.
I was a typical Alan Shazar looking elf dude.
Yeah, you should have been a skeleton.
I like my elf dude.
Mind flayer.
So Scott finally watched the end of Gravity Falls.
Yep.
And we can now review it fully. I assume you've all seen it. If you haven't, I guess you just should.
I realized, though, when, watching all the remaining episodes I hadn't seen yet, which is, right?
Which was a lot, because you had left off before Mad Max.
Sure. That I don't remember a lot of stuff from earlier, because this was a show that I didn't, marathon all at once. It's a show that, I watched over a long period of time. I watched it in chunks, maybe 4 or 5 chunks.
Yep.
And so within each chunk, I remembered everything, but from one chunk to the next, it's hard to remember everything from the previous chunk.
Well, it's interesting because I watched, like, we were both watching it about the same time. And then, remember it, like, in season 1, it stopped and then it started again?
Yeah, it did that a few times.
There's a time where it did
stopped after that Halloween-y episode in
so
the convenience store.
After the Halloween-y episode, I didn't, like, I liked the show okay, but I didn't like it that much. So
it wasn't one of those shows at any point where I was like, oh my God, gotta watch the next episode again.
So I didn't pay attention to it.
Right, so even when new episodes came out again, I didn't like rush out to get them. I sort of waited and then eventually saw them.
But then I remember there was a point that inspired me and Emily to start watching it again, was you started watching it again for some reason, and you got through the end of season 1 with Bill, and like that stuff started to happen. And you were like, oh, Bill, Triangle Guy, and I saw Triangle Guy around.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I guess Gravity Falls went somewhere. So I went back and started watching it. And now we're done with it, so I guess we'll try to save spoilers for the end. But if I had to fully review this show, it is a perfectly adequate kids' cartoon.
That's good.
It's not the greatest show in the world.
The thing is, yeah, it's definitely not the greatest show in the world, but I think it's one of those things where, you know, it doesn't really have too many flaws in itself, right? Just looking at it on its own.
It had potential flaws that it actually addressed satisfactorily.
Right, but it also didn't have anything that, like, made it incredible. There wasn't, like, some masterful thing that it did that was like, oh, look at this amazing thing. It's just like, you know, really good, really well done, you know, unique in a lot of ways, right? You know, it did things that other things didn't do.
It was a kid's show.
Story-wise, character-wise, art-wise, pretty unique, right?
It's a kid's show that set up some kinds of relationships and then had them not work out. It's also a kid's show that got real scary.
Sure, and also, it's better than a lot of its, you know, contemporary works. It's not the best. It's not Adventure Time good. Right?
It's not even Avatar good. Avatar is still like a full tier above.
I haven't seen that, but
Scott, you should watch it.
It's better than like a lot of that garbage you watch, like the kid who's a fish or whatever. It's better than that.
The Amazing World of Gumball is an amazing kids show.
And it's better than
Teen Titans Go is also an amazing kids show.
I haven't seen that.
Actually, it's an amazing adult show. You should watch the hell out of it.
But you know, it's
Scott,
better.
Do you hate all the DC stuff that's dumb?
Mostly, yeah.
Then you'll like Teen Titans because it's nothing but making fun of that crap.
Yeah, but it's still dumb DC stuff.
Yeah, but I'll put it this way. People who actually like DC really don't like Teen Titans, and everyone else likes it. So.
Anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of things that Gravity Falls is better than, and that's why, even though it's not like, oh my God, the greatest thing ever, if you're done watching like Adventure Time and a few other things, it's like this is the next thing on the list.
It's a good show to watch, like while you're eating dinner, like watch an episode while you're doing stuff when you get home, like sitting on the couch.
Well, sort of, right? Because it's got so much going on. I think you really got to pay attention to it closely.
Oh, I mean, like eating dinner, not like playing a game or doing something else, like distracting us.
I mean, I'm one of those weirdos who always gives everything I'm watching full attention if I'm actually going to watch something.
The only splitting attention I'll do these days is I will watch some things while I'm eating dinner. But those are things like Last Week Tonight or The Daily Show.
Pretty much Running Man, that's about it.
Yeah. Or like a Simpsons episode, which Simpsons has been pretty good lately.
I haven't watched the Simpsons episode.
I've been watching a lot of old Simpsons.
I can't even remember the last time I watched The Simpsons.
Some recent ones, pretty good, actually.
Anyway.
But Gravity Falls is, you know, I don't want to even compare it because there's some kid shows like The Amazing World of Gumball that are mostly comedy and they're kind of a separate space. Gravity Falls is in that space of it's a kid show that has a plot and continuity and has serious moments and a serious story that resolves itself in a serious way.
You know what I think? I think it's at the same level as Bravest Warriors. That's a level.
So I like Bravest Warriors.
And it's real similar to Bravest Warriors in a lot of ways, too.
A lot more than I like Gravity Falls. But I don't think I can disagree with you saying that they're similar, like, average quality.
But, I mean, even the plots have similar kind of things going on, right? Even though Gravity Falls is more of a present day and deals more fantasy aesthetic, and Bravest Warriors obviously has a future space aesthetic.
It's more magical
unicorns
realism.
And shit.
Yeah, but it's more magical realism. It's like you're in the real world, and then wait. I
mean, there are aliens and stuff in Bigfoot, right? But
then
that's
that's
still a
season 2.
situation of in Bravest Warriors, right? It's this mystery of like, ooh, what's going on? There's this emotion lord guy and weird shit, right? And Gravity Falls like, oh, this town, weird shit, right?
Though what's interesting is if you watch season 1 until like they have the mystery of the book, but they don't really push it. Like it's like X-Files. Like it starts with like there's a mystery, and then for most of the first
Gravity
season,
Falls has I think a too high proportion of Anami episodes that don't deal with the plot of the book.
Yes. Most of season 1 is entirely forgettable. Like, they're okay episodes, but like if you skip one,
even late near the end of the show, there was one episode that was which one was it?
D&D one?
Yeah, the D&D one. Oh, screw that D&D episode.
That one was real.
That was a bad episode, guys.
You can tell when a show has
that might be the worst episode in the show, the D&D one.
Because it does that thing of, hey, let's spoof a genre, and clearly did not know anything about that genre at all.
Well, no, I mean, clearly the people who, had played D&D, but the point is that Dexter's Lab already did the D&D episode, so there's no reason for anyone else to ever attempt to do that again. You're only going to do worse than that, because that is like one of the best episodes of Dexter's Lab. That says a lot about Dexter's Lab versus Gravity Falls, not that those are related to each
I can
other.
watch Dexter's Lab. Dexter's Lab is more against...
The D&D episode of Dexter's Lab is one of the best episodes of Dexter's Lab, except for maybe like Action Hank and Omelette du Fromage.
And...
yeah, the high concept one, right?
Yeah.
But... I
like how everyone
the
just calls that
D&D
one the
episode of
high
Gravity
concept one.
Falls is like the worst episode of Gravity Falls.
But if, like, when season 1, until Bill showed up, I was getting a little bored, and if I missed an episode, I wouldn't have noticed. There wasn't anything...
because the one thing in Gravity Falls is they have many plot lines, right? Every character has like a plot that's got to resolve.
Well,
right?
every character has their arc that's obviously going forward that got incrementally pushed in some episodes, but not others.
Right.
There was the overall plot of the book and what's going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the local mystery of that episode.
Yes. But the thing is that some of these plot lines are really interesting and cool, and some of the characters, and some are not, right? So the whole, like, Wendy Dipper thing is, like, it's there for the whole fucking show, and it gets way more attention than it deserves because it's one of the plot lines that are, like, the not good ones.
Yeah, I am so uninterested, and I think the audience of the show is too, in that typical trope of the protagonist guy really likes this girl, and a bunch of teen bullshit happens.
Yeah, there should have been way more Stan. Replace all that with more Stan stuff.
But to their credit, they took that, and then when they started getting serious, they basically just stabbed that relationship to death and had a...
But they still kept, the existence of that plot line didn't leave. Even in the final episode, they kept, giving it some action.
No, they resolved it. It was friendship.
Sure, but they still kept,
It was more that there were too many episodes that had a primary driver of Dipper wants to get with this girl and does stupid crap because of it.
Yep.
And actually, no, if I was to say the worst episode of the show, it's the one where Dipper tries to pick up girls.
That's a bad one, for sure.
That's probably the worst one, because...
The problem is that episode is saved by all the other stuff that goes on and all the where they're pranking all the freaking different...
yeah, that ended.
Because that concept was great, and I wish they would have given that more screen time.
I like how the pranks were all just crimes.
Well, like he said he was basically going to turn the mountain upside down, and I was like, oh man, let's see what he does. And he didn't really, do much. It's like, oh, come on.
But in that episode, the moral of it was basically, if you're a guy and you ever talk to a girl in any friendly way, you're clearly trying to date her.
And she'll give you her phone number if you're confident.
But then if you talk to a second girl ever, you're cheating.
Yeah.
That episode just was not missed the mark. It's like the episode of My Little Pony in season 1 where the moral was basically a leap of faith.
Oh yeah, Gravity Falls is not as good as My Little Pony. And actually, there's a parallel between these two shows, and that parallel is the parallel between Diamond Tiara and Principia, whatever her name is, lives in the castle. But
who both had plots that resolved similarly.
Right.
Almost identically.
Who are the same exact character. Right, basically.
Yep. Pretty sure her and Dipper eventually date. That's my guess. They set that up nicely. If you're wondering about the show,
the point I wanted to make about that, though, is that the girl in Gravity Falls, whatever her name is, right? It's like, it seems like when she resolves... she actually goes from the start, which is I hate you die, to all right, I actually like you now.
Yeah, you're an awesome character.
Diamond Tiara resolves, and it's like you're still a bitch. I hate you.
Diamond Tiara did okay though.
I still hate Diamond Tiara.
Her parents made her that way.
Yeah.
Also,
but she can still die in a fire.
Determinism, Scott. Her fucking cutie mark made her the way she is. Can't escape that.
She can still die in a fire. Get her out of here.
Her cutie mark isn't dying in a fire.
She's on screen. I don't want her to be on screen. If the other girl's on screen, I'm like, yeah, all right.
I needed
wear that llama sweater.
I'd rather have had an episode
Alpaca sweater, whatever it is.
Maybe her toadies should have betrayed her in some epic Nanami style fashion.
Maybe.
But anyway, but Gravity Falls just was okay until Bill came and they started following the plot. It's like the opposite of the X-Files. The X-Files was only good when it was Monster of the Week, and then when they started actually following the plot, it was stupid.
Well, the other problem with X-Files is that when they followed the plot, they didn't really follow it. They just said, "Oh, remember, there's a plot that's not stopping, and we're never actually going to reveal."
There was that moment where
anything about it
when Scully just finds a UFO.
That's the last episode of X-Files it's the second last episode of X-Files I ever watched, because I was like, oh my God, they found a UFO just like on the beach. It's got like runes on it or something.
And then a part of it like flies across the room and hits the Bible and points at something.
Right.
Yes.
It's like literally like she found the shit. Like, here it is. I'm standing next to it. And the next episode was like something completely unrelated.
And she's like, I don't think anything supernatural's going on here, Mulder.
And then they never go back to that ever. And I don't think I didn't watch all X-Files, but it's like, and Gravity Falls takes the plot to the end.
Yep.
It's like, imagine if X-Files finds the UFO and then they go in it. And Gravity Falls, they find the UFO and they go in it, literally.
Only warning, guys, I'm just going to spoil the shit out of the show because this is also final thoughts. We're going to talk about what actually
There's not
happened.
that much to spoil.
But I'm assuming you have seen the entire show at this point. If you haven't, stop, or we're just going to ruin everything.
It's not going to be ruined if you actually enjoy it more, if you believe what I say and that spoilers don't spoil things.
I'll do a counterpoint to that on the Patreon.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So... I actually was wrong about the six finger thing. For most of the show, I thought they were setting up that it was like aliens or wizards or something like it was something more supernatural. And the fact that it literally just was his brother an extra finger was really cool. Actually, I like that.
That's okay.
I like that it ended up that
I thought the author was just like some long dead person related to the town or something.
Yeah,
I didn't really think too hard about it.
And I also kind of enjoyed how the story ended up being simpler than I'd expected in a lot of ways. Like what he was trying to do to get his brother back, like it was all actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Until the only thing that was a mystery then was, so what does Bill want? Like what's his actual motivation? And I like how his motivation was, let's just be like all those background ghosts in the Ghostbusters.
Pretty much.
Like he was dangerous and scary, and I really liked that. And I did not expect them to, in a show where the second season had the same opener as the first season, I enjoyed how suddenly the opener's different and the whole show is just 100% different all the way to the end. Not many kids shows, not many shows do
they
stuff
didn't have
like
to do that many episodes, so they could put in the extra effort. Remember, they put the extra effort to put like the secret codes at the end of all the episodes, and even in the episodes. And you can read. Don't bother trying to decode them. You can just read them all on the wiki. It takes about 5 minutes.
I was looking around.
There's nothing really interesting in there.
Yeah, it's just drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
But when I was looking for that, I did find something interesting. The fandom of the show, surprisingly, well, I guess not surprisingly, heavily ships Princess what's her face and Mabel, not Dipper.
Wait, Princess. Oh, really?
Yeah. That's like the #1 ship.
Are you gonna ship Applejack and Diamond Tiara too?
No, because
not Applejack. Apple Blossom.
I was about to say, Scott, one of them is an adult.
No, Apple
That's
Blossom.
fucked up. That is
Apple
not
Bloom.
the ship.
I haven't watched the show in a while. All right?
That is.
It's not pony season. Apple Bloom, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you're not doing that.
No, but actually, so
that's the same thing.
But I think that's that could be more rationalizing Gravity Falls than your synthetic example for My Little Pony. Because the princess girl is kind of weirdly obsessed with Mabel in a way that none of those ponies are really in Pony. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the end was kind of a cop-out.
Slightly.
I mean, it was a kid's show, so I guess, sure, like you gotta have the happy ending, but even in a kid's show, I feel like it's not the greatest idea to have a sacrifice that resolves the plot and then within 5 minutes undo that sacrifice.
That's what bothered me about it the most, was not that it did it, because it's sort of obvious, like, oh yeah, you know, they're just, right? It was that they basically got his memory back within like a minute. It's like, shouldn't that take more time?
If I were them, I would have done the show slightly differently. The entire show would be 100% the same, except the 2 episodes they get rid of that we talked about. But in that moment, like, he'd wake up and there's a scene where like they're trying to make him remember and he doesn't. I would have then cut to like the forward flashbacks or whatever, and the last scene of the show would have just been like Ford and him off on the boat doing their thing, and he's suddenly like something Seuss, and then he's like, wait, who's Seuss? And he's like, it's like hint that he's starting to remember and leave it at that. But no, they literally had the, come on, remember. He's like, okay, I remember everything. It's over.
Yeah, and it only took a minute. It's normal. You know, it would have been cool though. Maybe like if you want to do the memory losing thing, you could have done it earlier and then had some episodes, you know, in between, like dark times where he doesn't remember and they're dealing with that, and then it comes back later. That would have been okay. Or you could have just had him beat the bad guy without making a sacrifice, just like, aha, we got you. Just make something up, and then that's fine.
Yeah, but victory without sacrifice is often also a boring story.
You could have made a different sacrifice that you wouldn't have had to undo.
They could have killed like Mabel or something, just had the internet go crazy.
No, you don't have to do something like that, but you could have, you know, you could have killed a less important character, but you also could have just like lose an arm, lose a leg.
You know what I expected?
You could have also lost a non-person, right? You could have lost the shack.
I expected...
Right? Shack explodes. Even though I really like that Zeus gets the shack. I like that part.
I expected that maybe if they'd fixed everything, the sacrifice would have been none of them would remember all the weird stuff.
Maybe. They could have lost the whole town.
Yeah, but instead, notice how the end was basically, this town is now literally Springfield, because they're like, let us all never talk about it again. Let's just not talk about it.
So there's one plot hole in the show that I'm trying to figure out.
What's
right?
your plot hole?
So it's not the biggest plot hole in the world, but it is slightly questionable, right? So their parents send them to this town to live with their uncle.
Yep.
Right? But if you notice, when he leaves home, right, his presumably, I guess it's the kid's grandparents, because he's great Uncle Stan. He's not regular Uncle Stan.
Yep.
So his sister, who's only shown in the show as like a tiny baby for like a frame or two, right, is Mabel and Dipper's grandma, right?
I guess.
Right? So her children are Dipper and Mabel's parents, right? You never see their parents. But Stan left home and never went back home, so he didn't even know Mabel and Dipper's grandma, his sister. He didn't even know her. He never met her like his whole life.
I guess they must have just unestranged at some point.
It didn't show it in the show. In fact, it's highly suggested he never went home ever, right? So he was estranged from that person. How did he even know Mabel and Dipper's parents?
Maybe.
Right? And how did
there might
Mabel
be
and
an
Dipper's
implied
parents
story.
know to send him there?
Maybe
Send
Dipper
them
and
there.
Mabel's parents died in a horrific accident. The kids are like in denial, like they can't believe it. And the state tracked down their nearest living relative and just fucking shipped him there.
But they had to go back home to California when the summer
temporarily until they got a foster home because he was clearly unfit to raise them.
Anyway, you're really going on a limb. And
I don't think that's that much of a limb.
So anyway, especially since they say in the show, oh yeah, they're such and such as kids, right? It's like right? Anyway, and they mention their parents.
Maybe they're going through
exist.
they're going through a messy divorce. They tracked him down like, look, take care of the kids. We got to sort our shit out.
They're on summer break. Okay, so then here's the other less but still existing plot hole, right? So their parents send them to live with their great uncle, who they thought was the different great uncle, but that doesn't really matter that much, right? For the summer, and they would come back home when the summer was over.
Yep.
It's at the end of the show. It's highly assumed next summer they're going to go back to Gravity Falls like it's their summer camp.
Yep.
But their uncle don't live there no more. Are they going to send them to live with Seuss, this guy their parents don't even know, to live for the summer? Right? In this, right? That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. They're not going to go on the boat in the summer, right? So if they go back to Gravity Falls in the summer, sure, they have a ton of friends there and people they could live with. But are parents really going to send them to live with these complete strangers? Some people they knew. When you go somewhere for the summer, you're only there for 8 to 12 weeks tops. Right? That's how long they know these people. 8
Dipper
to 12
and Mabel
weeks.
are smart enough to just lie and be like, yeah, we're going to go back to Grunkle Stan's house.
And their parents are going to call Grunkle Stan. He's not going to be there.
Their parents did not call at any point in the entire show to find out.
That's also fucked up. That is also something that was on my mind the whole time, is they have telephones.
That's why I think there's some merit. It's not that much of a limb.
There is something, that is the strange thing that is going on, is like, not the fact that like the parents are out of the picture, you know, which happens in a lot of shows, but like, how was this arranged to begin with?
So that's why I'm suspecting, like, them being dead is a stretch.
Your explanation is really off on a limb. There's got to be a more reasonable explanation.
Them being dead is a stretch. Home problems or them not being great people, much more
How do they
reasonable.
even know Grunkle Stan? This person who's estranged from their family and never met their grandma, the only person who they would have met in their family.
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Gotta think about this.
That's the part that makes no
Meanwhile,
sense.
the show brought back the giant time baby, and then that time baby got wrecked.
I know. The time baby came back. So first of all, in one of the codes, it says time baby's like going to reconstitute himself. It's going to take a long time.
Oh,
so he's not dead.
Okay.
And he's going to be pissed when he comes back.
Yeah.
Also, when the time guy came back and the time baby came back, I remembered, oh, right, they existed. I knew those characters. I recognized them. I didn't remember any of the episodes they were in. So I looked on the wiki. Time guy, who's named, his name is like, I forget what his
Jason Alexander?
No, the time guy, his name is basically like, it suggests that like he's a background, like not noticed person or something. And Time Baby, like, they were in a bunch of episodes, not just like one. They were in a few, and I totally forgot anything that happened in those episodes.
You know, you really don't. Oh, Blendin Blandin.
Yeah, blend in. That's his name. He blends in.
He reminded me of a George Costanza.
Yeah, kind of.
He's kind of just a shitty, vindictive person. Though, to be fair, he was right. Dipper and Mabel were just little shits.
Yeah.
Got him in trouble. And that Time Baby future is not a great future.
Nope.
That's a terrible future. The world ends in a terrible future regardless of what they did.
The town ends. The world doesn't end.
Time Baby shit happens in the future.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Time Baby happens. The world is fucked.
Right.
Nothing they did matters because the Time Baby future is terrible.
That's right.
So, yeah, maybe I guess if they do another show, they could be like the war against Time Baby.
Sure. So what episodes did you like the most?
I really enjoyed the episodes like inside Mabel's head, like that whole like crazy side story of them trying to assemble the team. And I enjoyed the first couple episodes of when Mad Max happened because the show, it's rare that a show will take such a hard swerve in tone.
See, like, there was the swerve where it comes to the portal. I actually liked more the swerve where they were, like, dealing with the stonecutters in the town and McGucket.
Yeah.
That earlier
well,
part there.
The mystery had so much potential. You're like, whoa, what's going on?
Right. Like,
what's the story?
It was almost like a hot fuzz where the people in the town know. And that part was way, more interesting than the other, right? And there were some of the side episodes that didn't have enough plot I still liked, right? So I liked the one with the Love God for some reason. Love God character was just
I also enjoyed the Love God. I like the multi-bear.
Multi-bear was okay.
I think someone is obsessed with the multi-bear.
The unicorn episode, which actually was a plot episode. I like the unicorns.
I do. I like how I thought that episode was going a certain way until the reveal of no. That unicorn's just an asshole.
Yeah.
For real.
I like the unicorns. The Street Fighter one, not so much. I mean, it sort of felt pandery, but maybe that's just because I'm a nerd.
The one where Mabel has the boy band.
That's a good one.
That
I like
might be
one.
my favorite regular episode of the show.
Maybe. We neglected to mention like one of the biggest characters in the show, which is the stupid kid who's all Southern cowboy hick, whatever his name is. The bad guy.
What, Gideon?
Yeah, Gideon.
Gideon.
He's just mad annoying. And
yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
He's basically there's some Eric Cartman buried inside of his genteel.
Oh, dude,
demeanor.
no, yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's Eric Cartman for sure. He's Eric Cartman plus like the KKK.
Yeah.
But even not that Eric Cartman isn't in the KKK, because he totally is. Complaining about Jews all the time.
But if I had to name my favorite like weird character side thing, other than Giffany, which was pretty good, like that whole bit, I enjoyed the demon that's just a head with an arm that's walking around trying to eat people.
Oh yeah, that's a funny side bit.
Because that's a very Rick and Morty kind of monster. And that also signifies the tone shift where the show really avoided talking about killing or death and was always very like kid show friendly.
People got turned to stone.
Yep.
And
but then at the end of the show, like when the final swerve happened,
they killed the mayor.
Yeah. But remember that scene where Bill is like, I think I'm just gonna kill one of them. And I think that might be the first point anyone referenced actual killing in the entire show. And that scene was really well done because it shifted from kid show to, oh shit, now it's serious. Eeny, meeny, miny, and that.
Yeah. It does feel a bit at times, even though it's obviously loaded with fantasy and magic, and your suspension of disbelief is in full effect when you see gnomes.
Yeah, like they make a
rainbows.
lot of noise in places where they're trying to be quiet, and somehow no one notices.
Right, but stuff like even towards the very end, like they're shot out of the cannon of the robot arm and then parachute into the thing, and it's they're falling great distances, like off the bridge, and then land. It's like a lot of that. It's hard to believe, like when they use a non-magical thing that's ridiculous. Right? It'd be like,
especially
if they just used it,
did not happen in the earlier episodes of the show.
Right, it's like when they're using,
and it happened more and more as the show went on.
Right, like if you're using shrink rays and stuff that are it's kind of like I can deal with that. But then it really stands out when you use something non-magical and it's still ridiculous. You should have just used magic for the whole thing.
Some of those bits did bother me, but the only excuse I have is Gravity Falls is in that weird bubble, so it just made the world more cartoony there.
Sure, maybe.
Or it could be like that crack show where they talk about The Simpsons and they have a theory as to why The Simpsons town is the way it is. It's a pretty good theory, but it could be a situation like that. This could be how Springfield was actually founded.
So I got to do some laundry before Anime Boston.
Yep. Gravity Falls is totally worth watching, but
it's not a waste of your time at all.
It's a kid's show, and it's good for a kid's show.
It's just not, it's not world changing, right? It's like 20 years from now. It's like right now, it's probably near the top of your list. But like 20 years from now, it'll just be like one of those shows you can watch whenever.
Yep. I think things like Ponies, Adventure Time, Avatar, actually. If you want to watch something next, that's a show to watch. We could review each of the 4 seasons of it even.
That's too many seasons.
It's worth it, Scott. It is... I'm going to say that Avatar as a whole is as good as Escaflowne.
All right.
Straight up.
I just watched Evangelion again. Watch that again.
Neither one's as good as Evangelion. Evangelion
just watch it again, and then we can talk about it a whole bunch more.
There's very little...
We've talked about it, but why not talk about it some more?
Want to you know what we should do? I'll watch it again.
Well, finish some Lieutenant. We can do GeekNights Presents Evangelion.
Let's just do it. Let's review. Let's talk about Evangelion again, and then go back and listen to the last time we talked about Evangelion and see if anything's changed.
Well, I mean, there has been things that have changed in that there were still things in Evangelion I still didn't understand, but now after like my Xth watching, there's nothing in that show I don't understand.
Yep. It's like, why did Kaji have that thing? Well, duh, because
I know exactly what everything is at every moment in the show.
Yep. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
The Patreon patrons for this episode of Geek Nights are, in order of the amount of money they give us, assuming they give us at least $5, Rebecca Dunn, Nicholas Brandow, Heidi McNichol, Amanda Duchette, James David White, Christian Kuntz, Jess, MyStady.com, Mechanical Mind, William Eisenrose, Jeremy Miner. How much mud could mud kip if a mud kip would kip mud? Scott John Harrison, Sean Yeager, Clinton Walton, Ren from New Zealand, Robert Lee, Ryan Perrin, Drew Openlander, Rare Lavelle, Brian Cedrone, Rochelle Montanona, Finn Eric Silverod, Can't Melt Steel Beams, Kinetic Man, Aaron Cerise, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox. Sorry, Flame Darkfire, I'm not going to read that one. While it's moderately funny, that's over the line. Sam Cordery, Daniel Redmond, Chris Haddad, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. Since many of you are wondering, we love Anime Boston. It is our favorite anime convention, both to attend and to perform at. But basically, this year they didn't just automatically comp our badges, and we ended up buying badges just because we didn't want to deal with a hassle at the con. And they're going to reimburse us, but basically, we don't attend any conventions that make us buy badges and then get reimbursed. It's just partly a hassle thing. Like, we go to enough conventions already, and basically no conventions we've ever performed at have asked us ever to buy a badge and then get reimbursed. But Anime Boston had never done that until this year, and it appears it was in fact just a clerical error and everything's fine for next year. So have no fear. We will, assuming no date conflicts or anything weird happening, we will be returning to Anime Boston next year in 2017. And actually, I'm kind of glad because we have a lot of anime content and we really only go to one anime convention. So I guess the one interesting thing is that MagFest sort of invited us to do our anime content there, so maybe we'll make even more anime content now. But anyway, I leave you now with something kind of weird.
German chemists created it in 2010 with the help of the US Army in an effort to develop more energetic compounds. And their first report on the discovery, they said, and I quote, "The sensitivity of C2N14 is beyond our capabilities of measurement. Even the smallest possible loadings in shock and friction tests led to explosive decomposition." To give you a list of how touchy this stuff is, here's a list of things that make azidoazide explode. Moving it, touching it, dispersing it in solution, leaving it undisturbed on a glass plate, exposing it to bright light, exposing it to X-rays, putting it in a spectrometer, turning on the spectrometer, and my favorite, absolutely nothing. They had it in a shock-proof explosive case in a dark climate control room, and it blew up. I think somebody said something mean about it somewhere, and it was like, the lead scientists on the team that synthesized it called it a very exciting discovery.